and welcome. Today, I know this was supposed to be about the farmhouse. However, I got to thinking, if I'm going to make cupboards for my farmhouse, I'm going to need a very nice straight edge so that I can line them up so they're not all wonky and crooked. So, what I came up with, since I don't have a piece of wood and some other straight cut wood and that kind of stuff, I had bought this little frame at Dollar Tree a while back with a different purpose than the date night. I didn't want the date night, but I had bought the little frame for another purpose, and I never used it, so it's been sitting around, and I got to looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm betting I could make a miniature gluing jig out of this little sign. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. This should be really cheap, really easy, and anybody can make one. Now what I've done is I've already separated the frame from the base, like so. Now this does have a picture hanger on the back. That is not going to matter at all. We're not going to worry about it. And there's some glue on here from where they had a really cheesy metallic heart glued on. And we're not going to worry about that either. In fact, we're not even going to worry about this whole upper surface. So, and as you can see, it's a little bit off because of the picture hanger on the back. And I've got a solution for that. So what I did was I disassembled the frame because I want just a corner. I don't want the whole frame on there. That would just, I think, get in my way. I want a corner. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take and I'm going to glue one long side, like so, and I'm going to make sure I get some glue down in this trough here. And you can probably see I'm having a little trouble getting my glue to go down in there. And then I'm just going to take the frame, or the matte part of it, and I'm going to stick that right back into that little groove there, like so. And then I'm going to do the same with the shorter piece. I'm going to put some glue down in the little groove that the piece of, it looks like masonite sits in. And I'm going to glue that to this one side here. Now because I'm right-handed, I'm going this way. I don't know if it would work better for someone who's left-handed to put your frame over here, then you're sliding in with your left hand, so that might be something to think about. And I am just going to let that sit and dry really good. Make sure I got my corners matched up. I do not have a corner clamp, so I'm just going to have to use some masking tape to hold it, because I want a very straight corner. And to me, this looks like this is a nice straight corner. So I'm just going to flip it around so that I can get the masking tape positioned and make sure the corner stays where it belongs. Like so. Now, to check this, I've got a little pre-cut piece of wood that I did not cut. This was factory cut. So I'm going to take it that it's square, and it looks pretty good. So that's the first part of this, and I'm going to let it dry good, and I'll be back. And honestly, I probably should have used wood glue. I didn't. I used tacky glue, but I'm thinking it'll hold just the same. Oops. So I'll be back as soon as that is dry, and I'll show you what we're going to do about the rest of it. Okay, so I think this is sufficiently dry now that I can show you the rest of it. So I was sitting there thinking about how things, it had support on two sides but not on the others, and I was really excited when I found out that popsicle sticks, two glued together, are exactly the same height as a little wood piece under the channel at the bottom of the frame. So what I decided to do was I decided to take some popsicle sticks and trying to make sure they're roughly, you know, there's not a big warp in them or anything like that. I've glued several together. I just cut the ends off with my miter shears, and I don't have them even. I don't think that's going to be an issue because this is just going to lend some support to our little gluing jig we're going to make. So what I'm going to do with these is, and try to get 2 popsicle sticks that are the same size, and be sure to line them up with this little edge here, the tiny edge, and make sure that they are the same size. Oh, and then just go ahead and glue them in place. I'm gluing one to this end. And I think I'm going to grab a couple of my small clamps here because I want it to stay. Just move it over a little bit. I moved, because the glue is wet and the clamp is a clamp, I moved a little bit on me. And you wouldn't have to glue right out to the edge, however, that is how I've chosen to do it. Now, the fact that this, you know, there's going to be a little gap there, that's not going to make a difference at all. So I'm just going to glue another one to this edge over here. Let me see if I can find a couple more of my little clamps. I have them clipped onto my tripod, which works really well. And then I moved to this table, which, as I said, will eventually have the farmhouse on it. And I'm going to go ahead, put some glue on this one. Line it up with the edge as best I can. Put the clamp on. Make sure it doesn't move from where I want it. Go ahead and clamp it down. That one looks like it might be just a little high. I'm not sure why that is, because the other one, well, the other one kind of looks like it's, the other one lined up perfectly. So I may not want to use this one, but I have several I've already glued, and let's see if this one lines up better. Yep, that one, those line up much better. Just again, a little bit high. So keeping in mind that not all popsicle sticks are the same in width. Or, you know, they're not, like, I don't know exactly what the dimensions are. I think they're about 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to cut another stick. And I'm going to glue it to this stick. Dry fit it in there first. That's always a good idea. Always dry fit. And you know, the Dollar Tree frame could be just a little bit off too. Nope, that lines up perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and glue these together. Sorry, I'm gluing off camera. Didn't mean to, but I'm just going to put them together. And again, one's a little longer than the other, but that's not going to matter when we go to glue it down. I'm just going to put some glue on this side. And please, glue your popsicle sticks together first and let them dry. I'm impatient. You know that. You guys know me. And then I'm just going to stick that up there like that. And I'm going to try to clip the whole mess without messing up my popsicle sticks or where I'm trying to glue them. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, the other thing I thought about, and now I know those are too big, and that one's bowed. That's a good way to use up some extra popsicle sticks too. Again, like I said, make sure they're even with your sides. That one seems to be, it's a little bit bowed. Just a bit, but it's not enough that it's going to make any difference because it's the slightest bow I've ever seen. So, I mean, it's barely there at all. I'm going to go across the middle with some of these, just a couple of them, just so I have that support in the middle also. I don't see my projects getting that heavy, but still. I'd like to give a little more support to the middle area. So I'm just going to be snipping off. And don't worry, if you don't have miter shears, you can do this with a saw. Like the razor saws are good. If you have one of those, you can snip them off with, you can use a hobby knife, you can use whatever you have to cut those off. And those look really even, and I'm hoping they're the right size. So we're just going to slide them over there. Yep, they are the right size. So we're going to glue those together, and they're just going to have to sit there like the other one because I don't have any clamps that would reach that far. I moved that one a little bit, I see. Let's get that glue bottle out of there. Okay, I'm just going to glue this one in somewhere over in here. This is just going to add support to the underside of our little project. I move it down just a bit. And then all I have left to do is just cut another small piece for this side. And I was hoping I had pieces cut long enough. So it, well, you know what? This one, I don't think I'm even going to trim the rounded edges off of these two. And you don't have to. That's strictly up to you. You would not have to if you didn't want to. And so I'm just going to be putting the two thicknesses in. And I can see that one of my popsicle sticks is just a little bit, looks just a little bit thicker than the other. Move this down to the end. Make sure I get my ends clipped good. Same with this one. And then I'm just going to glue this. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and cut one because I don't like the way that's looking. And I'm clipping under the table so that my little pieces, my little rounded ends go into my garbage can. Just going to make it come right over here to the corner. If it doesn't come all the way to the corner, I'm not going to be too upset. But we're going to try. I can always leave a gap on the side. Okay, that's that one. One more. And you know, if you need to make sure that you've got the right width, you can always, you're going to have 2 extra pieces of this, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, but I will find something. Yep, those look right. Okay. So I'm just going to nip the curve off the one end. And let's get that over there. Let's get the glue bottle out of the way. And I'm just going to put the two together and nip it off so they're about even. Just right about there. Okay. So now I'm just going to glue these two together and glue them down. Okay, just like that. I'm going to remove these clips. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to remove that one. And I'm going to clip this one. And I'm going to use my other little clip here. And I'm just going to leave that to dry. And I'll be back with you as soon as it is. Well, there it is, all done. Plain and simple. Now what I did, and I'm not saying this is going to work, and you would not have to do it, this is strictly optional, is when I got done, I took a piece of plain wax paper and I just glued it over the top because I don't, if I spill glue, I don't want it sticking to this paper that's on here. And you could remove the paper, that's fine, but you're still going to have your masonite underneath, which should be okay to glue on your wood mace stick. I don't know, I've not done this yet, but I did. I glued a piece of wax paper over the top of mine just to give me something to release in case I have any little spots of glue that I don't see when I'm gluing something. But here it is. It's nice and firm. It's nice and even. It's nice and square. And that's it. That simple, that quick. Didn't take very long at all. Of course, I did not wait for my glue to dry completely. I urge you to do that. Don't do as I do, because I tend to get in a big hurry. And since I didn't measure out my wax paper to put in here and cut it that way, what I did was I just made a straight edge on two sides, and then I kind of just glued the excess I had left over the edges. And the one thing I will say, if you choose to do the wax paper, is start at your sides and then make sure that you have it nice and flat, because it will, when you put the glue on, tend to wrinkle up a little bit. So just make sure you have it nice and flat, and that's it. That's all. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope to see you soon, because I am going to, now that I have a gluing jig, I am going to start constructing the cabinets for the farmhouse. Thank you all again, and I hope you all have a really great day. Bye-bye.